All right, folks, so no face for the intro in this video. I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it because it's spooky season, and I figured it'd be really fun to record a cute little pumpkin heart crossover American traditional flash piece. And so we're just jumping straight into the video here, folks. We're going to go ahead and hit this plus icon, go to the paper 11 by 8.5. That's at 300 DPI. And then I'm going to go over to my sketching tool, which is really just my technical pen with the stabilization turned way down. So we'll like turn it down to like 20% roughly. It's 17 and 19, but whatever. Streamline and stabilization are different. The stabilization does this to it. So you're like, I can't even get it to follow. And you get like lines like that. Whereas the streamline just gets rid of like your little tiny moves, right? And so stabilization is like super streamline, if anybody was curious. And you know what? I'll go ahead and stay on this red because it works. It's a nice little color here. And I am going to do one of these classic American traditional hearts with the flame coming out the top, right? Of course, you probably saw that in the thumbnail because that's how the magic of YouTube works. But because we're doing super spooky season designs, this is gonna be a pumpkin with a cute little stem poking out of it. It's gonna be a jack-o'-lantern. So hopefully you clicked on this and thought to yourself, oh, this is a cute design. I think I wanna draw along with this guy for his American traditional shiz. Because it's been a while since I've just done a straight up like, let's design an American traditional tattoo. And so I figure, why not? Let's get back to the classics here and do one of these guys. Ooh, do I give him a nose? I don't know if I'm gonna really have room for a nose on this. I think this jack-o'-lantern is gonna be sans nose. Oh, but you know what? Come on, give me the undos. There we go. But instead, I think I'm gonna give him creepy fang teeth. Yeah, we're gonna go like that with the jack-o'-lantern. And then this is a little bit big because I wanna throw some flames on here. And these are not American traditional flames. These are definitely more like neo-trad flames. So, you know, that's that. Well, you know. Yep, something kind of like that. I think that'll work. Maybe though. We're gonna go to so click on this weird little ribbon icon, and that's your selection tool. And I'm gonna go to freehand here, and I'm gonna cut this area out, my little pumpkin here. I'm gonna tilt it just a little bit. Oh, see, but then that, there we go. We're gonna tilt it that way. Yeah, I like that a little bit better because then that kind of lines up with this where it looks more like a candle, right? Yeah, and then it's got this kind of cool little swoopy kind of shape language going on with it, right? So now that we've got that, we're just gonna go and click this and we're gonna drop the opacity down. I mean, we can drop it pretty far, but I still want you guys to be able to see it. So we'll just put it at like, what is that? 31%, 30% there. Then we're gonna click on this, get to our black, and then because this is an American traditional piece, I'm gonna use my monoline, and that's over in the calligraphy set, which is somewhere. Calligraphy. Oh yeah, I could have seen it the whole time. Monoline, that's what I use. It's not a pressure sensitive pen, and I have the stabilization turned way up on it. Because that way get these nice clean lines. So 20% sizing on this guy. Let's see what that looks like. That's a little bit thick, but I think that honestly might work. So yeah, Ryan Roy. I did end up taking one of his courses. So far, it's been absolutely awesome. I definitely highly recommend him. He is a great dude who really wants to help people get badass at their social media game and start making more money with that. So shout out to Ryan Roy. I thought it was Ryan ROI, like return on investment, but it turns out it's Ryan Roy. So he's just got an awesome last name for what he's trying to do. Sometimes the universe just works out like that. But if you're a tattoo artist watching this and you're kind of like struggling with getting good at social media or even just getting motivated enough to do it, I cannot speak highly enough about his course. Obviously, I am not affiliated with him in any way. I actually paid him money, not the other way around. So there is no reason for me to, I don't want this that sharp. He's just a great guy trying to do his best to provide a great service. And I found that his templates and whatnot, because you know me, I'm on YouTube. I'm doing a lot of this stuff on my own already. So I kind of know what I'm doing, not like to brag or anything, but just to like, you know, I'm not a noob at this. But man, having those templates, having these like proven hooks and whatnot that actually work, so that way I'm not just like dependent upon ChatGPT and guessing my way into things. So freaking handy. So even if you just use it for that, it's absolutely worth the investment. I'm gonna hold this down, cheat a little bit, and pull that line to where I want it to be. I'm gonna create dimples in this thing. You get dimples too. You get dimples too. So let's see here. We're gonna, I'll use 2 line weights on this. Yeah, we're gonna use 2 line weights on this. So those lines that come down the pumpkin stem are gonna be thinner. Because we're already going a little bit more neo-trad with this. So I might as well just stick with it and get in trouble for calling this an American traditional tutorial, because I already skirt that line anyway in my American traditional, so I'm just gonna be authentic to me. Nope. Sorry, I didn't like how that was lining up there. And so I'm just gonna, and if you didn't notice, I actually do keep, actually I'm gonna turn the stabilization up. My technical pen is always my eraser because of things like this, right? Where now I can just take a nice little swoopy swoop, make this smaller, and just take a nice little cut out of this with my pressure sensitive pen and just clean things up a little bit easier, right? Clean up these little corners and whatnot. Yep, and then let's see. So I am gonna go back to this really quick. And like, so let's see, we're gonna have one like here, one like here, probably one down the middle like this, one here, and one here, just to kind of match that up. Yeah, I do like how that's coming along. Okay. These are just guidelines here for myself to see where I'm gonna have those pumpkin wrinkles, rankles. Okay, so then, boop. And pull this back just a little bit because whoa. Because we're gonna wanna keep this line coming through. There we are there. Keep that line coming through. Give him a cute little butt chin. And again, because this is American traditional, we're keeping it super simple, stupid. Even though I like to skirt that edge, I do try to still... No, I don't like how those came out. Okay, so you're gonna come out here. We're gonna go the other direction with it. Boink. But I do really try to skirt that edge of keeping things simple, but then adding enough details, and that's why we're gonna go for a second line weight here. Those are a little bit long compared to the other ones. Right, so we wanna keep that kind of balanced in the length there. There we are. Get this cute little jack-o'-lantern smile in. I'm gonna go ahead and cheat. And we're gonna hold that down and smooch it around. And am I gonna cheat for this line? I think I am. Then we hold it, scooch it in. There we go. And then I'm gonna go to a new layer, hitting that plus symbol. Then we're gonna draw in the fangs. Ooh, we want him to be kind of rounded though, because he's a pumpkin. And he's not super evil. He's a happy little pumpkin. Then we go back to this layer and erase that stuff out. Okay. Yep. And then give him some cute little triangle eyes. And because we went soft with the other ones, we're gonna go soft with those. But I don't like how those are looking. So we're gonna go over to my basic shapes. We're gonna grab a triangle. Whoops, wrong layer. So we'll squish this down onto one layer now, put the triangle on a new layer, and get it all right size-wise. A little too big. There we go, I like that. Drop the opacity way down, and we'll just go back to this layer. Normally I would like to have the layer on top, but whatever. Actually, before we do that though, slide with 3 fingers, and then we're gonna duplicate the layer, flip it. And because this one's kind of angled in a little bit, we're gonna angle this one in a little bit, and then kind of give it that same distance from here to here in that smile. So, right, so from here to here, here to there, right? That same sort of distance. That's what we're gonna be looking at there to balance it out. Go ahead and drop the opacity on that one. Now we're gonna get back to this layer. Oh yeah, don't draw with the triangle, draw with the calligraphy pen. There we are. And we're on the right layer, yep. Almost. Let's try that again. Straight line, curve it, straight line, curve it, straight line, maybe? Close enough. And then we're gonna hold it, boop, cheat there. That's too curvy. He's getting neurotic, people. Stop him. There we go. And because I'm that way, we're just going to grab this with that freehand tool, slide down with these 3 fingers, duplicate it. We don't even need to flip it. I could have just twisted it, huh? Bop it. Twist it. There we go. That's close enough. Squish this down onto 1 layer. Get rid of these 2 triangles. And there we are for the basis of that guy. I'll put the flame on a new layer, but I don't need to. There's no actual reason to put the flame on a new layer. Okay. So with the Neotrad flames, you really got to make these like bubble things come out, right? Where it like really goes back in on itself. Which is kind of weird because, yeah, something kind of like that. Now we need more space there though. Yeah, we'll do that. Ugh, I don't normally like coming out of that little crease there, but let's scooch it a little bit further. Yeah, that might work. So there we are. Bring this in, then we got to make it nice and bulbousy. Yep. Whoops, still on the eraser. I actually think I need to get rid of this whole deal here. Bring this down a little bit more. Much better. Okay. And so notice how we have 3 little licks of flame that are symmetrical, but totally not symmetrical, right? I think that's gonna be super fun. And yeah, we're just gonna squish this onto one layer because that's the one size line work. Still on our monoline. Just grabbed a new layer, hitting that plus icon. And then we're gonna drop down to what? 5%, I'm gonna guess here. Let's see. Yeah, that's smaller enough. That's good. Right, and we're just drawing in some cute little lines, but we do want to make them follow this shape, right? This outer shape, right? So this inner shape, so it kind of implies that it's going to come right back in and smooth into this thing here, right? Right, so the implication is, even though we're not completing the line, that it would complete this way and that this would complete this way. Yep, that'll work. Nope. More along with it. Not quite that long. There we go. Yep, some cute little happy flames. And our little pumpkin creases. Then we're gonna leave breaks. Come on now, none of that little after swoosh. Boink. 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 It's gonna, okay, so this is gonna come out here. And then that brings us through to here. Oh, no. Yoink. There we are. And then let's see, so here. Here. Because that goes up, we're gonna go oh no, that's the wrong direction. So notice how he's tilted that one way, right? And so we actually want to tilt his shading that way. So that means this has to come this way. Because that's the direction he's turned. So that's the direction you'd see into his mouth. I don't know why he's a boy. but he is for some reason. Yeah. No, that's got to just come, whoa. This has just got to come further down, I think, and more of a gentle little curve. Yeah, there we are. And then that means this comes this away. Hold the cheat, bring it on down. There we are, right? And see, that way, because he's tilted kind of like this, it makes it look like it's shining through this way. Little details that really matter to me and may not matter to anybody else in the world. So since this is going up, we're gonna go like this. So now we'll go here. Boom. And that's probably a little bit much. So let's go this way to keep it this thick roughly, right? So we want that much showing, and then I'm gonna come down with it. There we go. I like that a little bit better. But that's the wrong way because he's gonna come this way and up. Why was that the wrong way? Why did that look wrong? Oh, because it's coming down this way and it needs to come up that way. So that means it's gonna go like this. Why isn't this looking right to me? So if we just do it like that, what do we get? You know what? I might just have to just do it like that, because I'm not understanding why it's not quite looking right. This is really melting my brain, guys. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong here. Because it should be like this. But that doesn't look right to me, because it needs to be going up. And that makes it look like it's going down. Weird. Yeah, we're just gonna leave it with the bottoms. Please comment and let me know how I failed to get this correct, because my brain is just not allowing me to figure this the F out. So yeah, if you could If you're out there knowing that you're a way better artist than I am, and you're just like rolling your eyes or smashing your face against your screen or throwing a mouse at something, not a live one with a cord that does the clicky clicks, that would be great. Because this has already been embarrassing enough, and I'm gonna go ahead and give up now. But yeah. Nope, can't hold that. So when you try to hold it and it's not a big enough curve, it'll just give you a straight line, because it's like, you wanted a straight line, right? That's what you were trying to draw. And it's like, I mean, I wasn't, but thanks for thinking I suck that bad at drawing straight lines. I appreciate you, Procreate. All right, so let's get rid of our little thing. And voila, that's our little outline for our guy. I do actually like that. That's kind of cute. And so, yeah, let's squish it all down onto one layer. And yeah, let's get to our color. So that means I started a new layer. I always put my color layer underneath. Color layers underneath. Oh, whoops. Click this little icon, whatever. Turn this into the reference layer. Preview, I guess we'll call that, the preview window. And now this is the reference layer. And so that means anytime I select with the automatic tool, right? Doesn't matter what layer I'm on. This outline, the reference layer outline, still bosses all the other layers around. And so that's what we want to see happen right now. Gonna go over to my airbrushing tool. Soft brush is what I always use. But again, I only use 3 pens, so you don't necessarily have to do what I do. Okay, and then yeah, let's keep this pretty traditional dumb. So that means, how big is this guy? It's a little bit too big. So it's right, and you'll notice with these, I'm actually just going along the same line as his eyes are, that same angle. Because in that American traditional style, we're really not too concerned about making it realistic. We just want it to look cool. And so let's see, do I add any black in the pumpkin itself? So this is where I have to start making choices with the freehand tool. And there's absolutely a valid argument for doing something like this, right? Because that looks pretty awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Oh man, that's gonna give him a super butt chin. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Super butt chin, here we come. Look out, Jay Leno. My pumpkin's coming for you. Okay. Yoink. Right, we kind of want these to like be the same gradient, right? It's really rough though, but these are just kind of things to consider. That's why you'll see me zooming out and looking at stuff, because I'm like, is that roughly balanced? Because it's not symmetrical. I didn't take the time to make this guy a symmetrical piece on purpose. But we still want it to look like it's the same like weightiness, I guess, on either side. Right? And so that kind of thing, right? Where this is a little bit higher than this one, but it's not too bad. Right? It's a real rough guesstimate. So that means then I'm going to consider doing that in here now, because now I have a treatment thing going, and I should probably keep that samey same for consistency of the design. Whoops, too dark. Right, now it looks much more consistent with the lighter side here with no shading, and then these little dark bloops down at the bottom. Okay, I'm going to continue with this freehand tool and go into my flames to add some nice black deepnesses in there. Right, just little stuff like that, just to keep it dynamic looking. You know, also just American Traditional looks good with a lot of black in it. A lot more actually than most people expect. Like if you're a fan of like watching Ink Masters and stuff, that's like one of the things they're always telling people. And they're like, use more black, use more black. And you're like, but why? It's gonna make the tattoo dark. And it is gonna make the tattoo dark, but in a really good way. Because once you blast color over it, the black actually ends up being this really nice housing for the color, and it ends up adding a really cool framework for it and like some quote unquote stability into the design, and like lasting depth, as it were. And of course, you can absolutely get that with using other really dark tones. Speaking of Ink Masters, I think it's like, I don't know, you're gonna have to like, I can never remember her name. It's like Deanna Troy or something like that. The super painter girl. Like, she's insane. She's got like a degree from like, I don't know, Juilliard's a music school, but you know what I mean? Like one of these like freaking schools. And she's like stupid good at art. And she doesn't ever mix blacks together. She mixes like complementary colors across the color wheel and like blends these like super dark ochres and shit like that. And if like you're talking about ochre, you either watch too much Bob Ross or you went to school. Yeah, she did. So you don't have to use black. It's not a painterly thing. It's a tattoo artist cheat thing for sinking really nice deep tones into something. And you can absolutely do it a bunch of different ways. This is just the tattoo artist way. And I love it. I think it looks great. And it makes American Traditional American Traditional. That was weird. It's a great way to do things. But it's a not the most artistically refined way to do things. So if you want to do like more refined stuff and whatnot, you're going to make different choices, and please go right ahead and do your thing. But also, if you want to make something look classically American Traditional and please your clients, don't go doing that. Just sink some black in there. Because even if your client doesn't know why it doesn't feel right, they're gonna know it doesn't feel right. They might not be able to put their finger on it, but like somehow your brain just knows. So that's something to consider. I do do need a little bit there, but that was too much. There we go. Yeah, just a little tiny bit at the top there. Awesome. So that is the black shading for this design. Let's go ahead and hit it up with the color. So again, I add another layer and I put that underneath my black because you want the black to be above your color. And am I gonna like shade this color in? Let's see what color dropping looks like on this. I already have a cute little orange up here. Boop. Yeah, that's not gonna work. So we're in for another adventure with the freehand tool, folks. So we're gonna go like this and like this. Trace along this line as best we can. And then we're gonna yoink. Trace along this line. Yoop. Get along this line as best we can. Oh, dang it. And so that's another thing that I always keep reminding people of, and sometimes I forget, right, is take little breaks in your lines, right? As you're doing some complicated section, pick up your pen and stop, because when you undo a complicated section, if you've like done it all in one fell sweep and swoop, you're gonna erase all of your progress on that line, on that selection. And that can be a super pain in the butt where you're like, no, I worked so hard on that last section. Just something to consider. Okay, so because this is like a weird section here, I'm just gonna go ahead and bust straight through the mouth. Ignore that whole thing. Bust straight through the eye. Yoop. And then we'll come through. No, wrong. I can't even aim right now. Right, and then we would just erase this stuff out here. You know what? There's a much more efficient way to do this, because this is going to take way too long. Really, we could just go like this, grab our automatic tool, select this, go into here, grab our, I don't know, we'll do like a airbrush. Yep, this, we'll make it big, and just, get rid of that. Right, grab this, get rid of that. Right, much quicker. Okay, we're still on our orange layer. We're still on that. Go ahead and freehand in. Yeah. So what I was humming is, do I want this to butt up against itself, because then really you're not actually going to see this line, this lump come through, right? So you know what? I'm going to make an executive decision here that I did not put in the shading, which is actually why it's sometimes good to do full renders of your client designs, which is expensive on your time, right? As you can see, we're already like 45 minutes or some odd like into this video, and this is just a ridiculously simple design. But if you choose to factor that in, it can really help with decisions like you just saw me making, right? Where you can kind of, if you're not super used to how American traditional works, and while I'm talking at the same time and didn't really think about the fact that I just disappeared that middle line. And on something that's absolutely permanent on somebody, you don't want to be making those kinds of design mistakes where they'll like look and be like, hey, why isn't there a skin break in the middle of his face? And you're like, shit, because I didn't think about it. It's definitely something, yeah. All new tattooers get into weird little pinch corners like that, right? At the same time, see, so I like that better. And so what that means is we're going to go over to this black layer. We're going to grab an erase tool, inking, boop. And then we're just going to pull that out. Whoops. There we go. Back to our orange layer, freehand tool again. And like that. See, so that was like, oh man, I just did a good job tracing that one part of that line. Now we're gonna break, bring it on over. Boop. Take a break. And then as you can see, again, we're kind of like going up to this like same rough height, right? Where the top of it might not have enough color in it. I maybe should have gone a little bit higher with that, but I already made that choice, and so we're just going to stick with it. You know, like honestly for this design, because it's so cute and silly, what I probably should have done is stuck with, here, and I'll show you in a sec what I should have done here. Just let me get this done so my brain and my hand can align with the activity. Boop, boop. Yep, that'll work. So what I should have done, because that probably would have made a much quicker process, is so I'm on a new layer, drop this puppy in, go to my erase tool, choose, yeah, like technical pen, make it nice and fat, and just go yoink, right? And then just go yoink. Right, see how much quicker and easier this is, folks, than using like multiple tools to do the job and like, right? So expediency is absolutely something to think about, especially if you are just like testing full renders for a client, right? coming up with a nice, quick workflow that still communicates the idea and still gets it across, right? Because if you look, like, this is still coming out super freaking cute. Whoops. So again, reasons to do strokes. Then we let go. Then we come in. No, that was too fat. Cheat. Hold it and just go. But as you can see, right, that's so much quicker than what I just did. And it still has a really good look to the design. Right, so we're still not losing anything. Wrong side. Right. So this is definitely something to consider. Yeah, I've spent too much time doing this. You guys actually get the idea. Right, but see, that's a really cute treatment. It looks great, but we're already here. So let's go ahead, automatic selection, boop, boop. Go back to here. We'll just get the fat technical pen. Cancel. There we go. All right. Wait, no, I better get back to, yeah, there we are. And then airbrush. Sweet, sweet. Now we're on to the green. So we'll go for a new layer. Whoa, new layer. There we are. We'll just choose this fun little, I don't know, it's a little too mossy green. Let's go for just a nice dark green. And yeah, I'm already locked into this treatment. Otherwise, I would just go with the other thing I just showed you, but we're already here now, guys. We've gone too far to go back. We're stuck in our ways now. We've made choices, and now we must suffer for them. And again, we're just kind of going up to that same level every time with those colors, with that gradient, to just make it look nice and uniform, nice and clean, intentional, as it were. Right, and there's that. Then we'll just go ahead, automatic tool this. I'm gonna make it a slightly brighter green, I think. Not that you can really tell, forget that. It doesn't need to be. We're gonna go back to the dark green because we'll just use the skin break there. Boom. Yep, that's fine. Is it fine? Oh, see, this is where I end up going overboard with stuff, and I cannot be trusted because there's a big part of me that wants to like go for like yellow, right? Because like the flame is at the top here, right? And there's some part of me that wants to do that, and then like, actually, wait, I need to be on a new layer for yellow. Right, there's this part of me that wants to do something like that, and then go to like my inking pen, and then like, I need a bigger inking pen. right? And do something like that to like make it look like it cares about the flame light, you know? You know, something like that looks really cute to me. Oh, right, we gotta go back to this one, and then we gotta automatic select this and this and that, and then we gotta erase that out. There we go. Now, gonna get the yellows in there, so we're on the yellow layer now. And we're gonna automatic. Oh, you know what? Whatever. We're just gonna color drop these. We don't care. But then this part here, we're gonna automatic. And are you on airbrush? No, you're not. All right, leaving that little tiny skin break. Little tiny skin break. There we are. Now into the red for the flames. Are we gonna go like that red? No, we're gonna go a little bit darker red. Can we just automatic this one? Maybe we can. Let's see. Let's go ahead and color drop this flame here. And then on top of that, we're going to then get our freehand on. Whoops, freehand tool. Am I on a different layer? Exactly. And am I on that? Cool. So we're gonna go like this. Then we're gonna go to that yellow. Oh, I'm gonna do a brighter yellow because I don't think I like how dark that was. Right, we're gonna do something like that. So orange to yellow. Yoink. Whoops. See, and this is why you don't rush it, because you make little mistakes like that. Pick up the pen, bring it on back, do some cool orange, add some yellow with the tips. Okay, let's be careful with this one. Yoink. All right. Okay. breaking my own rules again. Just going quick with it. Not even caring. Just all willy-nilly. No good, people. Do as I say, not as I do, apparently. But at least now, hopefully, it's making sense why I wanted those lines to make totally sure that they went with these curves, because we have to make sure they go with those curves in order to get these cool highlights proper, right? Without that, these things would we'd have a son of a bitch, biscuit, shifty, turdlet time making that happen. And so now we've totally helped ourselves out by creating nice, cohesive curves and picking up our pen every so often so we don't ruin our hard work by drawing outside the lines. But yeah, cohesive curves, they really do help. They help the design look, again, intentional, like you're doing things on purpose and you know what you're doing and you care. So that's pretty cute there. But now I am going to experiment back on this layer. We're getting to the airbrush, good. And that's just the red alone. Right, and I kind of like that. It kind of just brightens things up a little bit, adds a little bit of that, more of that intentionality to it. Let's see if we're done with this piece, guys, because I'm going to now drop my little weird, yup. You know what? Let's go ahead and take this reference layer off for this. And just do it underneath the whole thing, so it's nice and spooky. That's kind of cute. I think we're gonna go ahead and stick with that. And so that means we're going to do what I always do for my background layers, go to spray paints with the fat nozzle, and then take this color, go slightly lighter, hit it with the fat nozzle, so it's got cool edges. Go slightly lighter, hit it with the fat nozzle again. Boom. And then we're gonna call that good. That is our cute little sacred heart, I think is what they're called, right? So that's our sacred heart pumpkin. Hopefully you guys had fun doing this with me. This month I'll probably do another couple cute spooky designs. If you have any requests, please do let me know. I'd love to get them done, but otherwise, this tutorial is already at 1 hour and 3 minutes, and so I don't even know how I'm gonna be able to edit it down. Thanks for sticking through it with me, folks. This is just a little tiny design, but hey, now you know that you should appreciate your tattoo artists because we put so much work into the tiniest things. And I know you guys appreciate your tattoo artists. You guys wouldn't be here if you weren't like that and totally awesome. But anyway, let somebody know because we spend time doing this stuff, even for our little tiny flash designs. Can you imagine how long it takes to make a whole flash sheet now? Anyway, let's get going on this. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot.